Ever since I was a kid, computers really fascinated me. Whenever I got the chance, I'd secretly use my dad's PC to play games, wondering when I'd finally get one of my own. Over the years, I've used a lot of laptops, but never many PCs. There was always something special about them. I always wanted to build one from scratch myself. Like, you get to choose all the cool hardware parts that you want, put everything together by yourself, and hope that it works. Sounds pretty cool, right? Computers are a whole different league. Unlike the hardware in your laptop where everything is squeezed and crammed under the keyboard, a PC has room for bigger components and far more powerful hardware. And the best part is, years down the line, when you think it's time for a change, you can upgrade individual parts instead of replacing the whole machine. Building a computer myself has been on my bucket list since forever, and surprisingly, it's one of the very few things that made it out of the list. If you've been around this channel for a while, you probably know that I'm rocking a GPU which was released a few hundred years back. It generally gets the job done, but the amount of effort required just isn't worth the results. The main reason I'm building a PC is because my laptop simply isn't keeping up anymore. I can't edit or export longer videos, I can't run most AI models locally, and I definitely can't play many modern games. Despite the recent price hikes, which don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon, I figured it was a now or never situation. Which is why, in today's video, we're finally building my first ever PC. The goal is pretty simple. I don't need the most powerful PC in the world. I just need one that can keep up with the kind of work I do every day. Now, I could have just bought another laptop, or even gone with a MacBook for that case. But let's be honest, laptops are crazy expensive for the performance you get, and a MacBook just wasn't the right fit for what I do. A desktop simply made more sense. The only problem was, this childhood dream came with a big price tag. First, we needed the parts. We need a motherboard to connect everything together, a few sticks of RAM, a processor, a graphics card, an SSD, a power supply, and finally, a case to throw it all into. Yeah, that's all I know about building a PC. The closest I've ever come to building a PC was opening up my laptop to swap its RAM and drive. So we're doing this exactly how my younger self would have. That's enough talking. Let's actually build this thing now. Since everything connects to the motherboard, that's where we'll start. This is an AM4 motherboard, which meant it was compatible with the processor I picked. It supports DDR4 memory, which was perfect because I'll never be able to afford DDR5. Not in this lifetime, I guess. Inside the box were the usual accessories, the I/O shield, the Wi-Fi antennas, and a couple of SATA cables. The box also included this quick installation guide, which shows how to put things together. For the processor, I went with the Ryzen 5600X. It showed up in pretty much every budget build I looked at, and honestly, I wasn't looking for something crazy either. I just needed something that could comfortably handle my shit, nothing very fancy. If you think I should have gone with something else, let me know down in the comments. Installing it was surprisingly simple. You just line up the little triangle on the CPU with the one on the motherboard and gently drop it into place. Now, I had heard that closing this lever was supposed to take a bit of force. Mine didn't. That immediately made me think that I had installed the CPU the wrong way. So I took it back out, convinced myself everything looked fine, put it back in exactly the same way, and carried on. For the cooler, I just stuck with the one that came with the processor. Was it the best choice? I honestly have no idea. I just thought that it should work if it comes with the box. This cooler already had thermal paste applied, so I didn't have to watch any of those how to apply thermal paste tutorials. I somehow managed to get half of it on my fingers, but let's hope that doesn't affect the performance. When I tried to put in the cooler, I ran into my first big issue. Remember how I said I was going to mechanic the shit out of this build? Yeah, I was already regretting those words. I couldn't figure out how to mount the cooler. I did open the manual, only for a few seconds, but I wasn't exactly looking at the right thing. After being confused for a good few minutes, I finally realized that the motherboard came with these metallic straps, which needed to come off before I could install the processor. Once that was out of the way, mounting in the cooler was actually pretty straightforward. However, screwing it in was a bit concerning. It kept making weird sounds, which didn't feel right at all. Now, you might argue that one should look up properly about everything before starting out, but to be honest, once all the parts arrived, there was no way I was waiting any longer. I just wanted to build the damn thing. And looking back, that's probably why I didn't even know how dangerous static electricity could be. I knew static charge was a thing, but I didn't realize it could actually fry a motherboard. I only found that out later when a friend pointed it out. But since you are watching this video, which is to be edited on the computer that I'm building, looks like we survived just fine. Anyways, back to the build. Next up was the RAM. I picked up 2 Ripjaws DDR4 sticks, 8 gigs each. I know 16 gigs is pretty much the bare minimum these days, but RAM is one of the easiest things to upgrade later. For now, I'd rather save that money for the graphics card. You might notice the RAM is in the wrong slots here. At the time, I thought I had installed it correctly because the manual said not to place them next to each other. It wasn't until later that I realized it meant using the second and fourth slots from the processor. So after the build, I took them back out and placed them properly in the right slots. Next up was the storage. I didn't buy a new SSD because, well, you've seen where prices are heading. To test whether the PC will even work, I temporarily borrowed the drive from my server. If I do everything properly and the computer boots, I'd pull the drive out of my main laptop and put it straight into this PC. It already has Windows, all my software, and pretty much my entire workflow on it. If it worked, it'd save me hours of reinstalling Windows and setting everything up again. And yes, before anyone points it out, I hadn't put the thermal pad back on yet. We'll sort that out when the actual drive goes in. At this point, I thought the hard part was over. The processor, cooler, RAM, and storage, everything was finally in place. All that was left was connecting a few cables. Turns out, that was the part I should have been worried about. This is the case that I chose. It's a case from MSI, and I chose it because it was on sale and looked decent. First things first, I installed the I/O shield and dropped the motherboard into the case, which would later turn out to be not the best idea. When I was about to screw in the motherboard, I noticed that I don't have any screws. Looking up online, I came to know that there should be screws included with the case, which I wasn't able to locate. Searching around for a while, I found that there is a hard drive casing which contained the screws. There were a few different kinds of screws in there, so I just picked the ones that looked right. I screwed them in, but something felt off. The motherboard felt loose. It felt like it wasn't secured properly. At the time, I didn't think much of it and just carried on with the build, but that would soon turn out to be a mistake. Now begins the part of the build that I absolutely had no idea about, the wiring. It turned out to be one of the most difficult parts of building a PC, something I obviously didn't know at the time. Since there was no manual or nothing about wiring with the case, I had to refer to YouTube videos. I made the basic connections like the front audio and USB, but honestly, I really wasn't able to figure out what was happening. For the power supply, I asked AI to estimate how much power my build would need and eventually settled on a 750 watt unit. The order I'm installing these parts might seem a little unusual, but that's just how things turned out. Now, I bought it without giving it much thought, only to later find out there are different kinds of power supplies too. So, what do you think about this PSU? Let me know in the comments because I'm still a little worried about it, as if the wires with the case were already not confusing enough. The PSU had another billion wires with very unclear labeling. Maybe the labels were all clear, but since it was 3 in the morning, I was probably just tripping, so I decided to call it a day. The next day, after a quick bath, I got right back to it. Still carrying the trauma from last night, I watched a couple of Linus videos just to make sure that I didn't mess things up. While plugging in the cables, I noticed the motherboard was wobbling way more than it should. It was straight up flexing every time I tried to plug something in. By pure instinct, I put my finger underneath the motherboard to support it, which got me wondering if something was actually supposed to be supporting it. Taking another look at the motherboard screws, I found these little standoffs which go into the case first, and the motherboard screws into them. They keep the board raised and properly supported. I took out the motherboard, installed the missing standoffs, screwed everything back together, celebrated myself for being the
greatest technician that's ever lived,
and carried on. The power supply was another story. I still had no idea where half of the wires were supposed to go. I eventually realized that not every cable actually needs to be plugged in. Like there was this cable labeled 300 watts. That didn't seem to fit anywhere. I figured it was probably meant for builds with more hardware. I don't know. That's just what I assumed and moved on, hoping it would work. Finally, it was time for the least budget-friendly part of this build. For the graphics card, I got the RX 9070 16GB version. You might completely disagree with this choice, but hear me out. I could have gone with an older graphics card and saved quite a bit of money, but I kept coming back to one thing. This is what I've been cutting the costs for. The GPU is probably the most important component for the kind of work I do. Whether it's editing videos, running local AI models, or playing games, it's the part of the PC I'll be using the most. This is also the part which I wasn't sure for a very long time. My preference kept shifting from time to time, but finally I decided to go all in. I didn't go with NVIDIA, even though it generally performs better in many aspects, because price to performance wasn't very good compared to AMD. And besides, you don't buy a GPU every 6 months. I'd rather spend a little more now and get something that'll last me for years, instead of upgrading again a few months later. let's put in the card. Installing it was pretty straightforward. I just had to remove the brackets from the back of the case, where the card was supposed to be screwed in. On cheaper cases, you actually have to snap those covers off completely. After putting the graphics card in, I realized I'd forgotten to remove one of the plastic wraps. So I took the whole card back out, removed the wrap, and put it back in again. After a lot more wiring and messing around, the build was finally over. Now for the moment of truth. If we didn't break anything, we should see some lights and a bunch of spinning fans. There you have it. Looks like everything is working smoothly. The lights are lighting up properly, and the fans are spinning as expected. Getting it to boot literally on the first try deserves a subscribe, right? Let's connect it to a monitor and check the output. Booting into the BIOS was a completely different story. I've only ever been inside one on my laptop, which is very basic. This thing looked like I was controlling a spaceship. I didn't know what half of this stuff even meant. I can control the fan speeds. There is even a 3D model of the motherboard, showing everything that's connected to it. I'll definitely have to come back here a few more times. Moving on, I booted into Linux just to check if everything was working, and Ubuntu started up successfully. Now came the real test. I took the drive out of my laptop and put it straight into the computer, and it actually worked. Well, almost. I got locked out and was asked to change my PIN, which required an internet connection. That meant carrying the whole computer into my dad's room just so I could plug in an Ethernet cable. My dad wasn't exactly happy seeing what looked like a spaceship parked next to his bed. I logged into Microsoft and changed my PIN, and we are finally in. Looks like we eventually put everything together properly, although it didn't work completely out of the box. I still had to install all kinds of drivers, but that's a story for another day. Also, using this installation of Windows probably isn't the best idea. I only did it for the sake of experimenting, and I'll probably have to do a clean installation later to get rid of all the pre-existing NVIDIA drivers from my laptop. But hey, the childhood dream has finally come to life, and I genuinely can't wait to do all sorts of stupid stuff with my new PC. I hope you liked the video. If you have any suggestions for what I should do with this thing, make sure to drop them in the comments. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check out these videos if you're just as unemployed as me.